Friends and viewer, good day. Life on the Mississippi, the famous Mark Twain. This is an autobiography, non-fiction memoir published in 1883, written by Mark Twain. It is about his own life on the Mississippi. So, Life on the Mississippi is a powerful narrative concerning the past, present, and future of the Mississippi River, including its towns, peoples, and ways of life. The narrator is written by Mark Twain, whose real name is Samuel Langhorne Clemens. Twain explains in the narrative how he stole this nickname from an old steamboat captain who was also a writer. Mark Twain is a nautical term and pilot's phrase that means 2 fathoms. 2 fathom is when the water level is just deep enough for a river navigation. As Mark Twain, he provides a comical take on life in general. With this novel, Twain addressed the life and times of piloting steamboats along the Mississippi River, making sure to mix his trademark humor into the narrative. Before addressing the river and his personal relationship to it, Twain provides a brief history of the Mississippi River. He comments on the first few chapters on the river's historic standing as a wonder that surpasses many rivers around the world. Twain also provides a history of explorers in the region, including De Soto, who first saw the river, and how the Mississippi transitioned from being just another body of water to become a conduit for transportation that many eventually found worth exploring and building industry upon. Twain comments on America's historic past despite both literature and people using the word new to describe everything related to America. The narrative is intertwined with Twain's personal story of falling in love with steamboat and wanting to become a steamboat pilot from a young age. As a child, Twain dreamed of being a steamboat pilot, not to mention a pirate, though he initially wanted to travel on the Amazon. He leaves home and becomes a cop on a trainee pilot. On the Mississippi River, Twain's sense of adventure and his thirst for knowledge relating to steamboat piloting provide many of the comic stories that flesh out the narrative, and his apprenticeship with Mr. Bixby in the early part of the novel. While learning to understand the Mississippi, Twain must also learn to understand himself, dealing with his own cockiness and pride along the way. From teachers such as Mr. Bixby and the cantor Curious Brown, Twain learns the ins and outs of steamboat piloting. His dream is cut short, however, when the Civil War hits and he must leave to become a war reporter. The narrative picks up some 20 years later when Twain returned to the Mississippi River to see how much it has changed. He attempts to return without being noticed but is recognized by old acquaintances. Twain's return is bittersweet as he notes the changes in the Mississippi and the steamboat industry. The war has caused railroads to become the main mode of transportation, and Twain sees the once noble profession of steamboat piloting going the proverbial way of the dinosaur. Though he laments this change, Twain also notes that industry must progress and that the new rules and methods of transportation are more efficient. Twain revisit old haunts in the South, his stories providing a noteworthy snapshot of river life both before and after the war. Twain uses anecdotes, stories, first hand narrative to weave a story highlighting his growth on Mississippi, the Mississippi owns growth, the glory days, and a decline of steamboat, his departure for war, and his eventual return to the Mississippi many years later. Twain is a masterful storyteller and imbues many of his stories with his trademark humor. Twain also uses the recollection of others to further highlight the general feel or character of places and people. These recollections include newspaper clippings, stories, recalls from people of character like Mrs. Trollope, and steamboat pilot stories, all of which are meant to paint a colorful picture of Southern life along the Mississippi River. So, this is the story, the lives on the Mississippi River, the autobiographical novel told us by Mark Twain. So, let us see what is the theme of this novel. Travel is, of course, a central theme in life on the Mississippi. From childhood, Twain dreams of traveling. He relates how jealous he was as a child of another boy in town who ran away to work on a steamboat. In time, Twain leaves Hannibal, his childhood home, and becomes a cub or trainee aboard a steamboat. Not only does Twain recount his travel along the Mississippi River, he adds anecdotes and first-hand narrative from others concerning travel in the region and along the river. Twain's account of learning how to pilot a steamboat are infused with life and culture along the river, thus showing the connection between everyday life and travel while living on Mississippi River. Twain also highlights how travel is responsible for the Mississippi being glimpsed by white men, such as explorer like De Soto travels by explorer garnered interest in the river and the area, thus creating a rush to explore the riches of the region and river. This travel is responsible for not only river's growth, but the growth of America as well as its prosperity as related to the river's growth. Twain again uses various accounts to highlight how the river as a travel mechanism aided in the development of the region. So this is the about the life, about the book, The Life on the Mississippi by Mark Twain, a famous Mark Twain, the writer of Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer's. I hope you will enjoy this autobiographical novel. Thank you very much.